everybody. Welcome to J&J On Jazz, powered by Jazzwire.
This is my friend Jeff, and he has Japanese words on his T-shirt, and he doesn't speak a word of Japanese.
Yeah, and this is my friend James, who I've been getting his graphic T-shirt game going on. Yeah, so I've got, Japanese on my shirt. I like to tell myself that it says Joe Henderson is awesome. But I'm sure the first Japanese person that sees me wearing this, they're going to be offended by whatever ridiculousness that says. So I just wear this house inside.
We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what gets dropped in the comments this week. If there's any listeners or viewers from Japan, we'll be eagerly waiting an assessment of what the shirt says. So
there you go. Perfect. Yes, I would actually like to know. Okay, so now it's coming out of the house. All right, you guys. Well, we want to talk about ballads this week, and as usual, not really quite sure where each other are going. But yeah, ballads are where we separate like the people that can play from the not so much, right? And there's all these great Lester Young quotes of like, great with all the bebop, but can you play me a song? Can you play a ballad, right? So, I certainly remember being not so comfortable with ballads. Our tone, our time, our intonation, just everything, it's really hard to know what to do. So we each, as usual, have sort of a different little take on what to do. And my thought on this is not anxiously filling up the time is kind of a neat thing. So to start a ballad, I have a trick. And James, I'm hesitant. I actually don't want to say what I'm going to say because now everyone's going to hear every ballad I've ever played, every album I've ever made, and they're going to hear exactly this. So I don't want to talk about it anymore. So thank you for tuning in.
That was a great episode, everybody. We'll see you next week here on
Damn
J&J
it.
On Jazz.
Okay. I'll so here's what it is. It is this simple. Play a note. I usually play a note beneath it and then play the first note like that. And so very often, the note, it's a chord tone. So what I'm going to do right away is play body and soul for you. And so what I'm going to do is, let's say I'll start on the fifth of the first chord. I'll play that note. I'm going to go down, very often a diatonic note. It could be a half step, but very often it's diatonic, scale notes. And I'm sort of going back and forth. And I heard, John Coltrane plays this way a bit on ballads, where he'll sort of be chanting, sort of in an area of the horn. Everything I played there, all I was thinking is, here's a note, another note, here's a note. Here's a note, lower note. Here's the first note I started on. Here's a note. And sometimes I would think, what's a hip next note? Or what's a smooth next note? What's a diatonic next note? But the shape, the velocity of what I was playing was literally groups of two notes. And it can sound really, really good. It sounds motivic, right? It sounds maybe like I'm listening to myself, and maybe there's a confidence when you play that way. I'm not trying to fill up all the space. It's a great way to start a solo. And yes, if you listen to 15 recordings of me playing ballads, I think you might hear something like that each time. So let me do this. I'm going to play one of my favorite ballads, Duke Ellington, Prelude to a Kiss. And I'll play 4 or 8 measures for you, and pretty much everything you're going to hear is that idea. Perhaps I may play a little scale. Perhaps I may jump an octave here and there, but everything is that one idea. A note, an adjacent note, come back to the first note. Check it out.
Jeff, what I love about that is it's incredibly melodic, and I'm not surprised. You're a very melodic player, but just the idea of those two adjacent notes, it's really melodic. It doesn't seem like you're just kind of marking time. So I always get something out of when we do these episodes, but this is one that I know I can instantly put into practice the next time I'm playing a gig and somebody calls a ballad. I'm gonna do this, man. I'm instantly gonna do this, and I know it's gonna make me sound different. That's really hip.
Cool. Well, good. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, always, what James and I are trying to do here is be actionable. So good. I hope everyone tries this. And it's one thing to hear it, it's one thing to recognize it, but grab your instrument and give it a try, for sure. And now I want to hear what James is going to talk about, but before we get there, I want to let you know about these 4 online workshops we have. They're almost sold out after 1 week. We have 3 or 4 spots left in each one. And so you can see behind me, these are all happening in October. Each of the Thursdays in October, the 7th, the 14th, the 21st, 28th of October. And they happen from 2 till 3:15 Eastern time. But if you can't tune in at that time, get the video. The video recording is only $20. The workshops are $35 each. And we have really, really cool topics. The first one we'll be talking about transcribing and what to do with the transcription. The next one is working on something real specific, something called the Coltrane pentatonic scale, Coltrane minor pentatonic. It's a very usable sound. Then we're going to talk about gospel and the blues, and then finally ending up with how to find fluidity in our playing, how to get our fingers going, and how to get our brain comfortable with playing eighth notes, which is what jazz is all about. So you can register right here. It's easy to register. Register for one class or all 4, and probably within a handful of days it'll be booked up. So I hope you jump on and grab one of those. So James, man, I want to hear what you're going to talk about with ballads, because it's such a personal thing, right? How to approach it.
Yeah, I love this topic. And I love playing ballads. One of the things I've had to really force myself to get out of the habit of is what you referenced earlier, which is fighting the urge to fill up all that space, right? And one of my favorite trumpet players, who no matter what he plays is brilliant, but especially ballads, is Clifford Brown. And man, just the amount of melismatic ideas that he plays, they're gorgeous, right? Well, so I find myself playing that way all the time, and it gets kind of boring. Like, how do I break that up? So here's an actionable thing for everybody. I'm going to use Body and Soul. You mentioned that one earlier. It's one of my favorite ballads, and I think this is a great tuning for this example. So I like to use rhythm. Yes, I just said that. I like to use rhythm on a ballad. You might be thinking, how are we going to use rhythm when the tempo's that slow, and what can you really do with rhythm? You've probably heard lots of recordings where at times the ballad feel will be doubled up. So if we're playing Body and Soul, a lot of times you'll hear players imply that double time feel, right? So you can really hear that.
Yeah, it's a powerful feel. So yeah, I mean, so what are you doing there? Because it's like shifting the band into another gear.
So I'm just trying to play ideas that are riff based, that are at twice the tempo, like ba ding 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 ding. So riffs are really important. Really simple music, like rhythmic ideas. Single notes sound great.
I love that, right? Because you didn't have to create, endless double time bebop lines. It was rhythm. So this is a rhythmic approach, right?
Exactly. And what I'm trying to do is, a lot of times players, you'll notice this out here, if you're playing with a rhythm section that's got ears, they'll latch onto that and they might double up that feel with you. They also might not, and it's still going to sound really good. if you listen to the early to mid 60s Miles recordings, the live ones like My Funny Valentine, Four and More, they do this on all those ballads. Miles does it, and sometimes all you have to do is just play 2 notes, right? 1, 2. That might be all you need to get everyone feeling that double up feel.
Oh yeah,
So
that shifts gears immediately, right? Wow.
Yeah, that's
Very
one of my
cool.
go-tos, and it's super simple. So I'll just play a quick first 8 bars or 16 bars of Body and Soul, and just show you how that sounds in practice.
Fantastic. Yeah, James, man, I love that double time feel. And, you know, how it's so rhythmic, and I really love, you know, the rhythmic aspect of people's playing, and how, to me, it just signals the band. I mean, you know, it sounds like a fanfare. And of course, all trumpet playing sounds like a fanfare to me, just saying. It's like the king is going to walk in at any time. But no, it's such an energetic, like, man, here we go, come with me, is what it sounds like when I hear that. And a good rhythm section, a half good rhythm section, is going to be right with you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Miles was the master at that, but any of those cats from that era of Miles is like the second great quintet. But that's where I got that from. He's just, like, I love the way it does say, like, come on, here we go, right? It does.
Yep.
It gets everybody on that same page. So yeah, that's if I find myself playing too many notes, I remind myself, like, man, just get in there and swing, right? You can still swing on a ballad. So that's
how hip. Well, so this episode was really about 2 notes, and my 2 notes were a melodic 2 notes, and your 2 notes were like, yeah, let's get swinging, right? So that's pretty hip and pretty intense. And like you said, like, everybody can try this right now, right? So that's fantastic.
We're all about action items here. We're all about action items at J&J. That's what we're about here, right? Action items.
There it is. That's great. Speaking of action items, I want you guys to sign up for the free trial of JazzWire. If you've been watching these videos, if you've been watching Digging Deeper, and haven't yet done the free trial, like, it's free, like, for real free, like, check it out. Oh my gosh. And see what's going on. And yeah, we'd love to get you involved with us and do this sort of work, like, you know, in a real back and forth kind of manner.
Yeah, it's important, guys. Yeah, we want to see you in there. We want to see you in there, for real. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I promise next week, James is going to have on, like, some amazing graphic t-shirt, and I'm probably going to have a black eye from the Japanese person that sees me wearing this on the street and is offended. So there it is.
Awesome.
Take care, everybody.
See y'all.